skill, cheap, and productivity. But also in Turkey you will find a strong work ethics. Again, as you can see from the indicators, in Turkey the average number of sick days is just 4.6. So it's again the highest rate in Europe and one of the highest in the world. Again, the working hours in Turkey is more than 50 hours. So it's again the highest in Europe. So we talked the reason, but what about the results? What's the FDI in Turkey? In 2003, the Turkish government had passed a new FDI legislation. So with this legislation, corporate income tax has reduced from 33% to 20%. Again, you, as the foreign investors in Turkey, you have a national treatment. There's no difference between a local investors in Turkey and foreign investors. You have the right to guarantee of transfers, access to real estate, and international arbitration. Besides that law, we have very effective investment incentives in Turkey. I don't want to go very details, but when you invest in special investment zones, you will have corporate and personal income tax allowances, VAT exemptions, and social security premiums. And also for R&D research, you have the cash support from the government. And as you can see, for regional and sector-based incentive regimes, you will also have an allocation of state lands and interest support. So, ladies and gentlemen, here is the result. As you can see, between 1972 to 2002, in 30 years, Turkey had attracted just 15 million. In 30 years, 15 million. But after the new law and new government, after 2003 to 2010, Turkey has attracted $94 billion. In 30 years, 15 billion. In 8 years, 94 billion. And again, the number of companies with foreign capital in Turkey is just more than 25,000. This shows the trust of the companies to Turkey. So again, Turkey is the 15th most attractive destination according to the World Investment Prospectus Survey between 2000 and 2010. Our Prime Minister, His Excellency Recep Tayyip Erdogan, mentioned that Turkey is a market where foreign direct investment can get emerging market returns and at developed market risks. So, now, ladies and gentlemen, the Investment Support and Promotion Agency of Turkey, who we are, what we are doing. We have established just in 2006, so we can say we are a new agency. We are directly attached to His Excellency Prime Minister and reporting to him. We have a private sector approach. Most of the people are working in our agency came from the private sector, but also public sector capabilities. We have one-stop shop approach. When you come to our office in Istanbul or Ankara, you can get your meetings, we can arrange your meetings in one. So, what's our services? We can coordinate relevant government institutions with investors. We can prepare market information analysis, facilitating legal procedures such as establishing business operations, incentive application, and work and residence permits. We have also a representative network. In 21 countries, we have 15 representatives. Also in Gulf, we have an office in Dubai who is responsible for the GCC countries. We said we are a new agency, but according to the World Bank Global Investment Promotion Benchmark in 2009, our agency is the 15th in the world in terms of general performance assessment and the 5th in the world and the 2nd in Europe in terms of inquiry handling. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are saying that for more power to your global business, please push the button. Thanks so much. So yeah, if you have any questions, please feel free.
What is the capital gains tax for foreigners?
Sorry?
Capital gains tax.
Capital gains tax.
You mean we have a general income tax which is 20%, and we have another tax regime for the VAT which is generally 8%. We have two tax regimes, but are you asking another?
Yes, I buy a property and I sell the property. What do I pay? Tax?
Property tax. For property tax,
No, I mean capital gains tax. capital gains tax?
It's for income 20%.
That's income tax.
Yeah.
When I make profit, what is it? That's income.
It is also property income tax, but it is the real estate belongs to any company, so it is called a company tax.
I buy an apartment in Istanbul.
So
And I
income, yeah.
So I will pay 20%.
No, for property it changes about the property's rate, and it differs between I think
1 to
1
18%.
to yes.
If you like to buy an apartment less than 150 square meters, you are paying 1%. But if you are buying more than 150%, it's going up to 18%. But this is, for buying. But if you are working like a company,
No,
you are paying.
I don't think you understood my question. You talk about the stamp duty. I'm talking about the profit I make on the thing. If I'm not resident in Turkey, I'm overseas resident. Everywhere in the world there is some sort of a tax, except some countries have no capital gains tax. What if I buy some stocks and I sell the stock, I make some profit? Do you have tax?
There is an agreement between countries. It differs between 10% to 15%.
I'll ask you a couple other questions. Can you talk about some success stories that you've had?
Yes, I attract Turkey because we have three main issues. First, the investment should bring added value to Turkey. They should create employment, and they should bring the know-how. So, in this investment, we can find all three. Again, in general, when we look to sector base, energy is the main sector in Turkey. Just this year, the Minister of Energy decided to, make an agreement with Russia for the first nuclear power plant in Turkey. And also, as you mentioned in our presentation, automotive industry is one of the important industries in Turkey. Especially for the suppliers part of this industry, we have attracted a lot of investments from Europe.
Well, you mentioned that there is this multi-factor credentials that you want potential investments to have, employment. Isn't it as simple? Let's say I'm not a company that is going to be able to hire a lot of your Turkey labor force, but I want to put money into the country. Do you rank investments based off of sort of non-economic criteria, including sort of social impact?
Yeah, there are three issues. Added value, know-how, and employment. There should be one from three, or there should be three, all of them in one pot. So, for example, your project maybe will not create any employment, but will bring some added value to Turkey. This is why Turkish government passed a new R&D law. With R&D centers, you will not create a lot of employments, but you will create an added value for the country. Maybe there are only 5-10 people working in one R&D company, but the product they are producing will bring more added value to people are working 100.
Many of the companies that are now forming or setting up in Turkey in recent years, is it because they are looking to sell their product and services into Turkey, or are they using Turkey as a platform to sell into the dimensions of the 1.5 billion market that is within a certain distance, or is it a bit of both? What are you seeing?
As the companies that we are meeting, we cannot say just only because of the local market or just only because of the market we mentioned, 1.5 billion people. Yeah, we have a very big local market. We are 72 million population and we are young, our GDP is increasing, so the population is tending to consume more, especially to the technology products. But also, we mentioned we are in customs union, so when we produce in Turkey, you can freely sell that products to European Union. So there is no difference between producing in Germany, France, or Italy to Turkey.
Well, no difference other than hopefully the labor force and the cost of that labor force is a competitive advantage.
Sure. I mean, I don't want to mention that because I already mentioned it. I mean, I don't want to repeat again. But we talk about the cost of production for the labor versus.
So, using that as a key metric to differentiate your country, what the cost of production for, say, oil, energy is a competitive advantage for the country. Relative to the cost of production to other EU countries, what is the relative percentage if I decide to do the same business in Turkey versus another country for energy, for the energy sector?
For energy, actually I cannot say just only for energy, but last week we had a meeting with a very big German company in again automotive industry. They are very big. So the CEO of the company in Turkey, they are aiming their own research. They put all the costs, I mean, competitive advantages of Turkey and also disadvantages of Turkey. And at the end, they reached the number of 19%. So at the end, Turkey is more attractive than most of the European Union.
Say 19, 19,
19, yeah.
19.
Yeah.
So the cost of production is 19% of what it would be in other European countries.
Yeah. They put all, all costs, logistic costs, energy costs. They also put the labor costs and other costs. I mean, at the end, they reached the 19%. So as we said, I mean, we have a young population. It is within both sides. It makes cost of production less than the European Union, and also for the consumption side, it means there's a good market.
And the quality of that labor is, with regards to where free zones, etc., are in the country, how does the universities, the colleges, the vocational schools sort of tie into not only that labor, but an educational workforce that's good for hiring young talent to come into these businesses? How do you work with the institutions of the academic sector to fuel higher quality?
Can you show my presentation? We have been discussing with the company in Mazda, for example, I don't know, in IT sector. You asked the relation between universities and education. And they are going to decide an investment in Turkey, and they asked how was the education, vocational system and universities in Turkey. So we had a meeting with the Minister of Education, and the Education Minister decided to, open a new vocational school very close to this, production facility, just because of these production facilities. They will do education according to this, company, what they are producing. And very close to the graduation, they will go to this company to see how in the real case is working.
I think there was another question for me. First of all, did you get clarification on your capital gains tax?
Yes, she did clarify, but she said I want to use them for. Like, I'm a foreigner, I want to go to Istanbul, it's a great city, I want to buy a condominium. Can I buy it?
An apartment?
Yes.
Yes, you can buy it, except the reciprocity.
No, what is reciprocity?
Reciprocity, there is according to the foreign relations, there is a reciprocity between the countries. If, as a Turkish citizen, if the country allows me to buy an apartment in its country, you can buy. But at the end, if you just establish a company in Turkey.
Forget the company. I'm saying I have a Turkish girlfriend, I want to buy an apartment in Turkey. Why should I go?
Yes, you can.
I can.
Yes, you can.
No reciprocity, all this stuff will not come.
I mean, at the end,
please give me a clear thing, right? What is it?
I'm giving you a clear answer. For example, if you are a student...
I think the answer is, if your girlfriend is Turkish, she can buy the apartment, you give her the money.
That is the risk.
This is the answer. You have to take the risk. So hopefully it's a girl you really like. I think that's really...
I will give to UAE. In Dubai, I can buy a property. I go to Singapore, Hong Kong, India, wherever I can go buy a property. Why should I worry about reciprocity and all this crap when you're saying...
No, I'm giving the right answer with all the details. I'm not, going around the answer. I mean, all it all days. If you open a company in Turkey, you can buy without any restrictions.
Then the company.
But I'm giving the answer, but you're not seeing me, I think.
No, the point is that I get a company, then it has to have a Turkish holding, majority Turkish holding.
No. You can own your with 100% of your company.
So my company can buy it, I can't buy it.
As a person, yes, you can. There are some exceptions, but as the company, there's no exceptions.
But excuse me for making this comment, it doesn't sound like very free economy and young and trendy. You know what I mean? If you stop people from buying, Bodrum is a great place. I want to go to Bodrum and buy myself a company.
Go to Bodrum, there are foreigners who already had up their own apartments from Holland, from UK, from Middle East, but you'll find a lot.
But if I go to Bodrum and then I form a Bodrum incorporated company, then every day I have to call my tax guy and my accountant, then it's no fun, right? It's not like it's a free economy. Seriously.
Well, clearly one of the things that goes into this, and we can open this up too, because this is linked to not just real estate, but just how you invest in any foreign countries. And the issues about operating, right? And we've seen both in the UAE with regards to real estate investing, we've seen with regards to the stock markets, et cetera, that even the freest countries in the world are concerned about money coming in.
That's okay, you can check the money laundering business, but that can happen in a company too. If I want to use 30 million, I can use it for a company too.
Oh, so that's right. So there's always going to be some criteria, some restrictions, but to your point, it's not as free as other countries.
To be honest with you, I'm surprised. I really am surprised because as an international city, it should at least, it's no big deal. Something wants to buy the park and you're promoting it all the time.
Well, I think then the question becomes, let's assume that it's not just one gentleman that wants to please one lady, but there would be a lot of investors interested in the real estate market.
Yes.
What mechanisms are there in place for investors and potential investors like this gentleman to approach your organization or other government agencies and say, listen, we are people of considerable means, we see that there's an issue here. How would that legislation change and regulation change? And what mechanisms are in place for those that might have frustrations with how things are
By the way,
being proposed that?
for the real estate, in Turkey, we are not owning the real estate, for example, for 99 years. You will have 100% of ownership of this land, not for 49 years, not 99 years. And most of the international companies has their own real estate or own their facilities. From this region, Imar, DR, all these companies have their own real estate projects in Turkey. As a person, as you said, there are especially the Asian part of the Mediterranean part of Turkey, there are a lot of people. It's just one apartment. So, again, you said there are some procedures. We are a country, there should be some procedures and some laws, but we can say Turkey is one of the most liberal ones in the region.
And just to follow up on that then, because you mentioned the reciprocity with other nations, is there a short list that Turkey has with their sort of most favorite nations, countries that they have reciprocity where there's a lot of, where's the money coming from? What countries or whether reciprocity agreements, so it's facilitating investment flows, or because the regulation is there to encourage investment flows? What countries does Turkey have a more favorable view from where there's reciprocity agreements, etc.?
Even favorable view? There is no favor for any kind of countries. All are same, and we are the same as the local ones. For this law at 2003, there's a national trade. So, if I'm talking in general, not the person who would like to buy an apartment, but in general, if a company establishes their own company in Turkey, it will have the same rights as me. We are talking, we are an investment promotion agency, we are talking about the investments, not just, one apartment, but also we are trying to support these, people, because they are also our guests in Turkey, but for the companies, for the investment which is our main duty, there is no difference between a local one or a foreign one. It doesn't matter for the country.
Excuse me, sir. I don't own that company. The company owns the company. That is my biggest issue. I want to own something. It's my money. Nothing to do with the company. when you make it into a Turkish company, and the Turkish company is considered a Turkish individual, individual and company is almost a similar thing. So this is what my problem is.
I represent the same organization. Sir, as I'm sure many of you know, reciprocity is a key fundamental issue in international law, which regulates relations between states. So, if a Turkish citizen is unable to buy a property, a person, Turkish citizen, but a company in your country, this is the main issues. This is the law we are being taught at the universities, at Harvard, at Yale, at Oxford. So this is.
But I'm sorry, I haven't been to these universities.
Sorry, where are you from?
I have 3 passports, so that's why I'm confused, right? Which one has reciprocity?
So we can easily provide you with the answer if your country is, we have agreement with them. So it's, no, we have to think, we have to consider interest of our own citizens too. So we are serving, the government is elected on the promise to serve its own citizens. So if I am not going to serve my citizens abroad, I'm not going to protect their interest abroad, then I'm not fulfilling my promises. As simple as simple. But as a company, there is no any restrictions. As a company, when you invest in Turkey, you are being considered a Turkish company.
Okay, so can a foreign company invest, or does it have to be a Turkish one?
No, we don't say foreign company or Turkish company. Once you establish a company in Turkey, you're just a local company.
So hang on, once it's a local company. Right?
Yes.
So a foreign company based in Mauritius cannot buy a property in Turkey, right?
In order,
So but basically what it boils down to is that it has to be Turkish.
There are other ways, for example, real estate investment trusts. So there are many ways to invest in Turkey. Don't worry, just contact us. We will find a way, to invest in Turkey.
Because I'm telling you, honestly, I invest in real estate, and I'm restricted to some countries where all my money is going to Singapore, Hong Kong, Malaysia, but there are no restrictions. And they have no restrictions, and they call themselves free economy. So, I mean, Istanbul is a beautiful place, and if you have a lot of property which is unsold, but in
I totally understand you, but it involves politics, and in politics, there is a delicate fine line between property and sovereignty. So in many countries it's being mixed, but Turkey is trying to make it clear that all investors from all around the world are welcome to invest in Turkey. So as a person, it's a bit difficult because it's based on reciprocity, which is a main fundamental issue in international relations.
I'll tell you what has happened, right? I walked in here. I was expecting to actually go to Istanbul and make an investment.
Don't worry.
I am worried now because I have to form a company. I have to start paying these people money to form a company, and then there'll be another local director, then there'll be some accountant. So it's a mess. It is not as easy as
it takes one day to establish a company in Turkey. Just one day. One day you can establish a company. Don't worry, you have a girlfriend, no issues.
No, I'll rob her.
I'll
get somebody from
opportunities are abundant. There are ample opportunities for you to find a way to invest in Turkey. Don't worry about that.
I mean, we can continue this question after the break because we don't have to.
No, just the reason why I didn't mind his questions is because he represents a type of investment that has a particular type of interest. So to broaden it to think about it in terms of larger investors is exactly the right thing. To that point, though, there are chambers of commerce, etc. How does your organization link with the Arab Chamber of Commerce and all these other chambers so that businessmen from different parts of the world that have these kinds of concerns, rather than he has to go and fight that fight and go through the process as an individual, are there organizations or groups that might have common interests, as he does, that have already walked this path and said this is what, how does that knowledge get transferred? So it's not one individual at a time coming to the organization, but it's promulgated, through organizations, through the embassies. Sort of how do you connect with other government organizations throughout the Middle East and other places to facilitate the knowledge transfer for interested businessmen?
I mean, as you mentioned in our presentation, first from our agency, we have 2 offices. One is in Ankara. Our headquarters is in Ankara. Ankara is the capital city of Turkey. We have an office also in Istanbul, but we have a representative of 15 people in 21 countries.
Do you have a representation here in Dubai? And
Yes, we have. Yes, we have. Who is responsible for the GCC countries? And they are very close working with the embassies and commercial attaches in here. So from one
is there someone from the UAE here today, so that to get to the bottom of this man's concerns, that can give him specific answers based in America on the ground? Is this the secretary? Who represents your group that's based in Dubai and the UAE, since this is what he is?
I mean,
Yes.
I represent the Dubai Chamber, and this is Tuba from one of our business council, Turkish Business Council. So maybe you would like to say a word about the Turkish Business Council. It's one of the group sectoral national council of the Dubai Chamber, and we are here to help you invest. So we'll be we came here actually to link with you and see how we can from Dubai to help you coordinate with local organizations.
Because I think it would be pretty good that as we collect questions and inquiries from the region about how to do so, that there is a group organization that can facilitate that and then share that information.
Let me introduce myself then. My name is Tuba Stadmiller and I represent the Turkish Business Council in Dubai and Northern Emirates. Actually, if anyone has any specific questions or inquiries, we would be more than happy to collect them and refer the owner of the question to the correct.
So is it safe to say that you will do the legwork so that he doesn't have to?
Well, we can provide all the facilities that we have to put them in touch with the correct people in Turkey. In this regard, we work very closely with the council. Sorry, I'm really.
you can find both in private sector and public sector over there. So two ladies, one from private, one from embassy.
So on that note,
as you can see, there's a very close relation between private and public. I mean, we have very close relation with the chambers in the mentioned countries, and also with the investment promotion agencies.
what is your website?
www.invest.go.tr.
And how user friendly is it in regards to being able to make questions and get answers back?
Again, from my presentation, we are 5th in the world and the 2nd in the European in terms of inquiry handling.
So I mean specifically, if he asked this question on the web, how long would it take for him to get a pointed response back? Do you have that sort of facility through your website?
I mean, for first,
we have to answer all inquiries.
Okay. So they're saying 48 hours. You ask the question. At most, you will get a reply back.
Head of Nejmettin, my colleague Nejmettin is head of our research team. So in 48 hours, we are sending first reply. And according to their questions, Nejmettin and his team is preparing a special report in 1 week.
So we've got various ways. People on the ground in the chambers, the Department of ED, and the website. Thank you all for attending the Turkish presentation. Up next is Poland. Another one of my renowned jokes. A man walks past a beggar on the corner of the street where he works. The beggar holds out his hand, and the man drops a coin into the beggar's hand. About a week or two later, the same businessman is walking past the same corner, and he sees the same beggar. But this time, the beggar has two hands out. The businessman says, "Why do you have two hands out?" He says, "Because business was so good, I decided to open up another branch." Well, part of the pattern here on Poland is to see how good business is and why we should be interested in investing in Poland. And our moderator for this panel is Thompson Barnhart, who is the part of the senior team of Business Polska. So, Thompson, please come up and introduce your panelists. Thank you very much.
Good morning. Just to get started, I know we're starting a little bit after lunch. My name is Tom Barnhart, media business in Poland for about 10 years. We will start briefly today. We've got about 50 minutes, as I understand it. I'd like to introduce for a moment who our panelist discussions are. We'll come back to setting the framework of Poland economic framework, and then go into some details about particular sectors and trends. I would first like to introduce Mr. Kazimierz Marcinkiewicz, who is the former Prime Minister of Poland and now representative for Goldman Sachs. I'll ask each of them to provide individual introductions after one moment. Krzysztof Michalski, who is the president of the Military Property Agency in Poland, which is selling large parts of the military real estate. Marek Petraszek, who is a founder of CDC Government Relations, one of the main consultants in the region for lobbying and political connections with business. If I do that some justice, Mark. And Robert Seges, who is a senior executive at PAIS, which is the foreign agency for investment promotion. But let me ask each of you to present yourself a bit more appropriately in detail, Mr. Marcinkiewicz.
Kazimierz Marcinkiewicz. I am international advisor for Goldman Sachs, and I advise world funds and companies in Poland. I was a politician within 20 years, just 1 year as Prime Minister.
Krzysztof Michalski, I am the president of Military Property Agency. I am responsible for trading the not any more used properties and also not any more used military equipment in Poland. I am an economist.